So I ordered a camera so that I could take better pictures than when I came with my iPhone for some exciting family travel this summer. And it came with like a selfie stick attachment. And in the same week, I had talked to a few friends and a couple clients about how I was gonna train for a pretty big summer. I have two 100K races on my schedule, and that I was gonna really try to do all the right things. And they were like, I would love to follow along on that journey. So in some weird capacity, here we are doing a vlog. My name is Hillary McCloy. I'm a physical therapist. I live in Jackson, New Hampshire. I run my own physical therapy clinic, and I love learning about the body. I love working with anyone who's interested in staying active, taking care of themselves. And I often work with a lot of runners and skiers and people who love to move. So that's my day job. I am an ultra runner, I'm a backcountry skier, and that's how I spend most of my time outside during the wintry months and summer months here in New England. I am hoping to share my journey of trying to actually follow through, do a proper training plan. I hired a friend, my friend Sarah Kais, to be my coach and actually do all the things. I tell clients and friends all day, every day, you gotta do the work, and I've learned to slack off on that. I have some niggles that love to creep in every year, and my goal this year is to try to stay on top of those, work on my feet, work on my form, and stay ahead of the load and stress that a lot of running takes on the body. Because running is a high impact sport, but with understanding the skills, the strength, rest, all the things, you should be able to get through everything healthy and happy. And I'm sure there'll be lots of bumps along the way. So this is going to be part running. I felt like just using my own experience as a way to structure sharing some of my knowledge, I think is a cool way to do it. So sometimes when I'm doing some exercises or on a run or doing a workout, talking about shoes, nutrition, I'm gonna do more research and work with a nutritionist this summer and make sure I'm fueling as best I can on and off the trail. And really any topic is fair game. And then I think it'll be a little lifestyle. I have, in the winter, I'm skiing a lot, and so I'm gonna, share some of those adventures. I have some fun travel planned this year, some skiing, some running, some family, some hiking, and it'll be interesting to just share how I tie in travel with training and all the fun stuff. So who knows, maybe I'll just make one, but it is February 25th. It is February 28th, and this is technically the first day of my run training. I think the plan for the first few weeks of running is to just start to get more frequency, not run super long, but start to just go out more days a week, work up to 3-4 days a week, ski when it's good, and just get the body used to this new load. I've run actually a few times a week the last 2 weeks. I didn't run all of January and the beginning of February. I was focused more on uphill ski touring because of an event I did. And I ran a little bit through December, so I haven't taken a huge break. My also focus is trying to spend time at home in the gym, really getting my feet, lower legs dialed, as well as all the tendons and muscles that take the brunt of the impact that I don't necessarily get when I'm doing all the sliding. Fast forward 5 weeks, it is the beginning of April. I was hoping to do more of this during March, but it was crazy. Winter showed up, so finally skiing has been awesome. The above tree line skiing has been amazing, so whenever I have free time, I've been skiing. I also had the busiest month ever in my PT business, so that was amazing. I started my Run Strong course online, and I also have been running 3 to 5 times a week. I've gotten up to 26 miles a week and starting to add in some intensity changes, little workouts, some hill workouts, and everything's feeling great. But I want to finish today with the first piece of how I'm trying to make sure I stay healthy during this road to 100K. And it's a posterior ankle injury that has been plaguing me off and on for the last few years. So I'm going to go over how I'm trying to avoid that and what I've learned. And then there are a few other body parts that sometimes rear their head when I'm training a lot for skiing, or when I'm training a lot for running. So today we'll just go over that, and then I'm headed off for a few weeks, some family trips, personal trips, work trips. It's gonna be awesome. So maybe next vlog, it'll be a little more fun, lifestyle, New York City, Alaska, Boulder. It's gonna be sick. Anyway, here's a little bit more about my posterior ankle joint pain. So this spring, as I've been transitioning out of skiing, I've been trying really hard to work on my feet and my lower legs. I have, over the last few years, had pain develop in my left ankle in the back, kind of in the back of the joint. So not in my Achilles, and when I would go up on my toe and point, it would have this like pinching sensation. But so much to the point that I like couldn't run. So if I was running on like road or really trying to like push off my big toe, have a great triple extension, it really hurt. And so I couldn't really run. So at first I was like, for a day, I was like, oh, it's my Achilles. But then I realized that I get that pain other times. Maybe years and years and years of shoving my feet into boots that were super stiff and too small. I remembered I had this pain of when I'd push my left foot into my race boots. I always had this like horrible pinching pain in the back of my ankle, but then it would go away, so I'd kind of forget about it. And then sometimes when it gets really tired, when I'm backcountry skiing a lot and booting a lot, it'll get fatigued. And then in the last few years when I put my touring boots on, push my foot in, pointed into my boot, it would hurt. So it took me 2 summers to sort of figure out how to manage it and what it was. And I think it's a posterior ankle joint impingement. And I've learned through meeting with friends that were PTs, doing some research, that my left foot is a little more hypermobile than my other one. And so it needs continual work of being stable through the rear foot, mobile in the forefoot, basically do all the right things for your feet. So I've tried to do a lot more footwork this winter, a lot more walking around on my toes, trying to be really strong in a really good position in that toe off, pointed toe position. So when you're like, when you land and then you push off, like that's where it would hurt. I also figured out that when this lateral gastroc muscle got really tight, this would get worse. So I learned if I needle this muscle every once in a while, like if this is sore, the pain goes away. So I've sort of figured out all these different ways to mitigate the pain. And it's been good. Like it was good all winter. I figured out how to put my boots on with less stress, so that helps. So I'm not getting repetitive stressors. And I'm also working on my dorsiflexion, so that's the bending part too. This ankle tends to be a little bit tighter. I think if there's a little bit of ability for it to move around too much in here, it'll get like jammed. The first few times, a few years ago, it started hurting was when I was running a really steep downhill. So my feet were pointed downhill and it would like jam. So a couple times like a chiropractor unjammed it for me. And then 2 summers ago, it became just chronic and I couldn't really train. It was the year I did the OCC. So I went into that thing with like not much training. But I think I've figured it out. I was in denial that I had a loose ankle. I thought my ankles were really tight. And so doing lots of barefoot, balancing, lots of toe spreading, and just a lot more strength-specific exercises for my soleus, my gastroc, and then making sure when I go up on my toes that my rear foot is stable. So that means that the muscles coming down the outside of my leg are strong, the ones on the inside of my leg are strong, because those two sort of like wrap around when we go up on our toes and keep it stable. And when I do any kind of heel raise work, I make sure this is a nice straight line, and I try to not have it come in or out. So I'm trying to recreate that really good alignment all the time. There's a few other, last summer I had a new foot problem that we'll go over maybe next time. But that's been my like focus all winter, doing more like when I come in and I stretch, take my shoes off, just get my feet moving. And I've done a little more calf and lower leg strengthening, and I'm only 5-6 weeks into my run training, also skiing a lot, and it's gotten tired a little bit, but I haven't had that pain. So far so good. I'm about to go on a little bit of a whirlwind trip, and a lot of it will be in Alaska skiing. So I'm gonna be working on managing running, training, backcountry skiing, and doing all the things. So come along, and maybe the next vlog will be lots of fun lifestyle. I'm actually going to New York City for 3 days as well, a pit stop in Boulder. So I'm away for a little over 2 weeks with some really fun activities, a little bit of work, a little bit of family, a little bit of play, and we'll see how that goes with also training for my Vermont 100K in July. Thanks.